In the sun-drenched summer of 2018, in the rugged heart of Colorado's Rocky Mountains, a group of 4 teenage friends, Alex Thompson, Mia Rodriguez, Jordan Lee, and Sarah Patel, embarked on what was supposed to be an unforgettable hiking adventure. Alex, the unofficial leader of the pack at 17, was a lanky kid with tousled brown hair and an infectious grin, always the one to rally the group for spontaneous escapades. He had grown up in the small town of Evergreen, where the mountains weren't just a backdrop but a playground, and he knew every trail like the back of his hand. Mia, his closest confidant since elementary school, was 16, with fiery red curls that matched her spirited personality. She was the artist of the group, sketching wildflowers and landscapes in her worn notebook during breaks. Jordan, the tech whiz at 17, carried a backpack stuffed with gadgets, a drone for aerial shots, a GPS tracker, and his ever-present smartphone for documenting their exploits on social media. He was the cautious one, always double-checking weather apps and trail maps, his Asian heritage evident in his sharp features and quiet determination. Sarah, the youngest at 15, was the newcomer to the group, having moved from California just a year prior. Her Indian roots brought a love for storytelling around campfires, her dark eyes sparkling with curiosity and a hint of mischief. They had all met through Evergreen High School's outdoor club, bonding over shared dreams of exploring the world beyond their sleepy town. The hike they planned was to the summit of Mount Evans, a challenging but popular route that promised breathtaking views of alpine lakes and wild elk herds. They set out early on a crisp July morning, the air filled with the scent of pine and wild sage, their laughter echoing through the aspen groves as they ascended the trail. Alex led the way, cracking jokes about bears and Bigfoot to keep spirits high, while Mia paused every few minutes to capture the golden sunlight filtering through the leaves. Jordan filmed short clips for his YouTube channel, narrating their progress with exaggerated enthusiasm, and Sarah shared tales from her family's trips to the Himalayas, drawing parallels to the majestic peaks ahead. As the day wore on, the trail grew steeper, winding through boulder fields and across babbling streams fed by melting snow. They stopped for lunch at a scenic overlook, munching on peanut butter sandwiches and trail mix, sharing stories of their futures. Alex dreamed of becoming a park ranger, Mia an environmental illustrator, Jordan a software engineer in Silicon Valley, and Sarah a travel writer. The bond between them felt unbreakable, forged in the fires of adolescent adventure. But as afternoon shadows lengthened, a sudden fog rolled in from the west, thick and disorienting, turning the familiar path into a maze of gray. Jordan checked his GPS, but the signal flickered erratically, blaming it on the high altitude. They pressed on, assuming the mist would lift, but visibility dropped to mere feet. Alex suggested they turn back, but Mia, ever the optimist, insisted they were close to the summit. Tensions rose subtly. Sarah complained of a headache from the thinning air, and Jordan's drone battery died mid-flight. In a moment of confusion, they veered off the main trail onto what looked like an old mining path, overgrown with thistles and forgotten by time. The group huddled together, calling out to one another as the fog swallowed sounds. Then, abruptly, a sharp cry pierced the haze, Mia's voice, yelling about a twisted ankle after slipping on loose gravel. The others rushed toward her, but in the chaos, they became separated. Alex shouted for them to stay put, but panic set in. Jordan's flashlight beam cut through the murk, revealing nothing but endless trees. Sarah's calls grew fainter, as if the mountain itself was absorbing her. Hours blurred into a nightmarish ordeal. The temperature plummeted, and a light rain began to fall, turning the soil to mud. By dawn, when the fog finally lifted, there was no sign of the 4 friends. Their backpacks lay scattered near a cliff edge, contents spilled, sketchbooks, energy bars, a cracked phone screen, but the teens had vanished without a trace. Local authorities were alerted by concerned parents when the group failed to return by evening. Sheriff Elena Vargas, a seasoned officer with deep roots in the community, led the initial search party. Helicopters buzzed overhead, dogs sniffed the trails, and volunteers combed the underbrush. News spread quickly through Evergreen, with headlines in the Denver Post reading for teens missing on Mount Evans hike. Theories abounded. Perhaps they had fallen into a ravine or gotten lost in a hidden cave system riddled throughout the Rockies. Some whispered about wildlife attacks, mountain lions or bears, while others speculated foul play, pointing to transient campers spotted in the area. The families clung to hope, Alex's parents distributed flyers with his smiling photo. Mia's mother organized prayer vigils. Jordan's father used his tech connections to analyze satellite imagery, and Sarah's relatives flew in from California, sharing cultural rituals for safe return. Days turned to weeks, with exhaustive searches yielding only a single clue: Sarah's beaded bracelet snagged on a thorn bush miles from the trailhead. The case went cold as winter snow blanketed the mountains, burying any potential evidence. Media interest waned, replaced by newer tragedies, but the families never gave up. Anniversaries came and went, marked by somber gatherings where old photos were passed around, tears shed over what-ifs. Alex's room remained untouched, his hiking boots by the door. Mia's artwork hung in local galleries as tributes. Jordan's online channels fell silent, his last video a haunting loop of laughter in the fog. Sarah's stories lived on in her siblings' retellings. The town of Evergreen changed too. Trails were marked more clearly, safety seminars became mandatory for school trips. Yet, the mystery lingered like an unsolved puzzle, haunting dreams and fueling urban legends around campfires. Hikers reported eerie feelings on that stretch of Mount Evans, some claiming to hear distant echoes of teenage voices. Paranormal enthusiasts flocked to the site, armed with EVP recorders and thermal cameras, spinning tales of ghostly abductions or ancient curses from Native American lore tied to the land. Skeptics dismissed it all as coincidence, attributing the disappearance to the unforgiving wilderness. But deep down, everyone wondered, what really happened to those 4 kids? As years passed, life moved forward reluctantly. Alex's younger sister grew up idolizing her brother's adventurous spirit, becoming a guide herself. Mia's family started a scholarship for young artists. Jordan's inventions inspired a local STEM club. Sarah's cultural heritage was celebrated in community events. The void left by their absence was a constant ache, a wound that time scarred but never fully healed. In quiet moments, parents would stare at the mountains, willing them to reveal their secrets. Little did they know, buried beneath layers of soil and forgotten time, something waited to be unearthed, a revelation that would shatter the fragile peace they had built. The discovery would come not from official searches, but from an unlikely source, a group of amateur geologists prospecting for rare minerals in 2023. But that's a tale for later. For now, the story of their vanishing remains etched in the annals of Colorado's enigmas, a cautionary whisper on the wind-swept peaks. 5 years after the disappearance of Alex, Mia, Jordan, and Sarah, the summer of 2023 brought an unexpected turn to the unresolved mystery that had haunted Evergreen, Colorado. The town had settled into a melancholic rhythm, with a missing teen story woven into its fabric, a cautionary tale told to new hikers and a lingering pain for those who knew them. That July, a group of amateur geologists from Denver, led by Dr. Rachel Kim, a 40-something professor with a passion for rare earth minerals, arrived in the Mount Evans area for a weekend expedition. Dr. Kim, a wiry woman with sharp eyes and a penchant for uncovering the Earth's secrets, had no inkling her team would stumble upon something far more profound than quartz or feldspar. Her group of 6, including graduate students and hobbyists, was equipped with metal detectors, shovels, and geological maps, targeting an old mining region near where the teens had vanished. The area, once bustling during the 19th century gold rush, was now a tangle of overgrown trails and collapsed shafts, rarely visited except by the occasional adventurer. The geologists set up camp near a rocky outcrop, their tents pitched under a canopy of pines, the same trees that had stood silent witness to the teens' last moments. As they scanned the soil for mineral deposits, one student, a lanky 20-year-old named Ethan, picked up an unusual signal on his detector, a low, persistent hum unlike the usual pings of iron or copper. Intrigued, he called Dr. Kim over, and they began digging, expecting perhaps an old miner's tool or a buried ore vein. Instead, their shovels hit something hard about 3 feet down, a metal box, roughly the size of a shoebox, rusted but intact, with a faint engraving of a mountain silhouette on its lid. The discovery halted the group's work. They gathered around, whispering excitedly as Dr. Kim carefully pried it open. Inside was a collection of items that sent a chill through the warm summer air: a waterlogged notebook with Mia's name scrawled on the cover, a cracked smartphone with Jordan's initials etched into the case, a small leather pouch containing Alex's favorite pocket knife, and a beaded keychain matching the bracelet Sarah had lost. The box was a time capsule, buried deliberately, but by whom and why? The geologists, sensing the gravity of their find, contacted Sheriff Vargas immediately. News spread like wildfire, reigniting the town's obsession with the case. The families were notified, converging on the sheriff's office with a mix of dread and hope, their faces etched with 5 years of unanswered questions. The box's contents were carefully cataloged, each item a tangible link to the lost teens, but it raised more questions than answers. Mia's notebook was filled with sketches of the trail, wildflowers, rocks, and a hauntingly detailed drawing of a shadowy figure in the fog, its features indistinct but menacing. Jordan's phone, though dead, was sent to a forensic tech who managed to extract fragments of data, a partial video showing the group laughing before the fog rolled in, then static, followed by a garbled audio clip of what sounded like a struggle. Alex's pocket knife had traces of an unknown substance on its blade, later identified as a rare type of clay not native to Mount Evans. Sarah's keychain held a tiny, folded note with the words, "We were followed," in her meticulous handwriting. The discoveries sent the investigation into overdrive. Sheriff Vargas, now nearing retirement, reopened the case with renewed vigor, calling in state police and a forensic anthropologist to analyze the site. The box's location, far from the main trail, suggested someone had gone to great lengths to hide it. Was it the teens themselves, leaving a clue in their final moments? Or someone else covering their tracks? The clay on Alex's knife pointed to a remote valley 20 miles away, prompting a new search grid. Volunteers, including the families, joined the effort, combing the area with a desperation fueled by this fresh lead. Media descended on Evergreen once more, with true crime podcasters and documentary crews trailing behind, sensationalizing the buried box mystery. Theories exploded online. Some believed the teens had stumbled upon an illegal operation, drug runners or poachers, who silenced them. Others leaned into paranormal explanations, citing the eerie figure in Mia's sketch. Dr. Kim, now an unwitting celebrity, gave measured interviews, emphasizing the need for scientific rigor over speculation. The families, meanwhile, grappled with the emotional toll. Alex's mother clutched the pocket knife, weeping for the boy who'd carved his initials into every treehouse they'd built. Mia's father pored over her notebook, decoding her sketches for hidden messages. Jordan's sister, now a coder, worked tirelessly to recover more from his phone, haunted by the distorted audio. Sarah's parents prayed over the keychain, their faith tested by the cryptic note. The town held its breath, waiting for the next clue, but the mountains remained stubbornly silent. The search uncovered no bodies, no further artifacts, only endless wilderness. Yet the box had shifted something fundamental. It was proof the teens had been there, had fought to leave a mark. Sheriff Vargas theorized they might have been separated intentionally, perhaps by someone who knew the terrain better than they did. She cross-referenced old reports of suspicious activity in the area, finding a 2018 sighting of an unmarked van near the trailhead, never followed up on due to lack of evidence. The clay led to a dry creek bed in the distant valley, but heavy rains had washed away any potential tracks. As weeks passed, the initial frenzy subsided, but the families refused to let the case fade again. They organized a community dig, funded by donations, hiring experts to map the valley with ground-penetrating radar. Ethan, the geology student, stayed involved, driven by guilt for unearthing something that brought more pain than closure. Dr. Kim, too, felt tethered to the mystery, her academic curiosity now personal. The box became a symbol of hope and torment, a Pandora's box of possibilities. Had the teens been victims of nature's cruelty, human malice, or something stranger? The answer lay somewhere in the Rockies, buried deeper than the geologist's shovels could reach for now. The families vowed to keep searching, their resolve hardened by the tangible proof of their loved one's existence. The mountains, ancient and indifferent, held their secrets tight, but the discovery had cracked open a door, however slightly, to the truth. As the investigation into the buried box intensified in the fall of 2023, Evergreen, Colorado, transformed into a hub of frenzied activity, where hope flickered like autumn leaves in the wind, only to be dashed by the relentless chill of unanswered questions. Sheriff Elena Vargas, her retirement plans indefinitely postponed, assembled a task force that included FBI agents specializing in cold cases, forensic experts from Denver, and even a profiler from Quantico who had a knack for unraveling the psychology behind disappearances. The clay residue on Alex's pocketknife became the linchpin, traced to a specific geological formation in the remote Whispering Valley, a desolate stretch of land 20 miles northeast of Mount Evans, known for its labyrinthine canyons and abandoned homesteads from the pioneer era. This valley, rarely traversed due to its treacherous terrain and lack of marked trails, was rumored in local folklore to be cursed, stories of lost miners and wandering spirits that dated back to the 1800s. The task force set up a base camp there, complete with drones for aerial surveillance, ground-penetrating radar, GPR, units, and cadaver dogs trained to detect human remains even after years of decomposition. Volunteers poured in from across the state, including seasoned hikers, retired law enforcement, and the families themselves, who refused to sit idle. Alex's father, a burly construction worker named Tom Thompson, wielded a shovel with grim determination, his calloused hands digging as if he could unearth his son through sheer willpower. Mia's mother, Elena Rodriguez, a schoolteacher with a gentle demeanor, coordinated logistics, handing out maps and water bottles while suppressing her own tears. Jordan's parents, both engineers, brought high-tech gear, including thermal imaging cameras loaned from their firm, hoping to spot anomalies in the rocky landscape. Sarah's extended family, drawing from their Indian heritage, performed quiet rituals at dawn, burning sage and chanting prayers for guidance from ancestors, blending cultural traditions with the modern search efforts. The GPR scans revealed irregularities beneath the soil, possible disturbances that could indicate shallow graves or hidden caches. Excitement peaked when one scan showed a linear anomaly, about 6 feet long, prompting a careful excavation. But as the dirt was peeled away layer by layer, it turned out to be nothing more than an old fence post from a long-gone ranch, rotted and misleading. Disappointment rippled through the group, but it only fueled their resolve. Meanwhile, back in town, the buried box's contents were dissected further in a sterile lab. Mia's notebook yielded more secrets under ultraviolet light, hidden writings in the margins, scrawled in haste, reading, "Eyes in the mist, watching us." Forensic artists reconstructed the shadowy figure from her sketch, producing a composite that resembled a gaunt man with hollow cheeks and a hooded jacket, though details were vague. Jordan's phone data recovery advanced, revealing deleted texts from the day of the hike. Messages between the group about an odd hiker they spotted earlier, someone who lingered too long at viewpoints without engaging. One text from Sarah, "Creepy guy in camo, keeps glancing our way." The audio clip, enhanced by specialists, captured fragmented voices, Alex shouting "run," Mia's scream cut short, and a low, unfamiliar growl that could be wind or something more sinister. Sarah's note, "We were followed," was analyzed for handwriting stress indicators, showing signs of panic, uneven pressure, and hurried loops. The pocketknife's blade, beyond the clay, had microscopic fibers embedded, later identified as synthetic material from outdoor gear not belonging to the teens. These clues painted a picture of pursuit, not accident, shifting the narrative from lost hikers to potential victims of foul play. Sheriff Vargas pursued the 2018 unmarked van lead, digging into DMV records and surveillance footage from nearby gas stations. A grainy video emerged showing a white panel van with mud-splattered plates parked at the trailhead around the time the teens arrived. The driver, partially obscured, matched the composite sketch loosely, a middle-aged man with a beard, wearing sunglasses. Attempts to trace the vehicle hit dead ends. Plates were stolen, reported months later in an unrelated theft. But it connected to a name, Harlan Crow, a reclusive survivalist known to squat in the Rockies, with a history of minor offenses like poaching and trespassing. Crow had vanished around 2019, his last known address an off-grid cabin in Whispering Valley. The task force raided the dilapidated structure, finding remnants of a life on the fringe, canned goods, hunting rifles, and a journal filled with paranoid ramblings about intruders on my land. One entry, dated July 2018, chillingly noted, "Kids poking around, had to scare him off." No direct evidence linked him to the teens, but it was enough to make him the prime suspect. Media frenzy escalated, with national outlets like CNN and Fox News camping out in Evergreen, interviewing anyone with a story. True crime enthusiasts flooded online forums, dissecting every detail, some doxed innocents resembling Crow, leading to harassment complaints. The families navigated this circus with grace, holding press conferences to plead for tips while protecting their privacy. Alex's sister, now 20, spoke eloquently about her brother's kindness, urging the public to focus on facts over sensationalism. Mia's artwork inspired a mural in town, depicting the four friends against the mountains, a beacon of remembrance. Jordan's tech legacy sparked a hackathon to develop better hiking apps with real-time tracking. Sarah's stories were compiled into a booklet, distributed at schools to teach wilderness safety. As winter approached, searches slowed due to snow, but indoor efforts continued. DNA from the box items was retested against national databases, yielding no matches but confirming the teens' handling. Psychics and mediums offered their services, some claiming visions of the group in a dark cave, alive but trapped, dismissed by authorities but clung to by desperate relatives. Dr. Rachel Kim, the geologist who found the box, collaborated with the task force, using her expertise to map soil disturbances. Ethan, her student, developed a personal stake, volunteering weekends and even dating Alex's sister briefly, bonded by shared grief. Tensions arose within the families, arguments over whether to accept the possibility of death or hold out for miracles. Therapy sessions became routine, counselors helping process the limbo. One breakthrough came in early 2024, a tip from a former associate of Crow, claiming he bragged about dealing with trespassers in a bar fight. This led to a warrant for his known haunts, uncovering a hidden bunker in the valley stocked with supplies, and a scrap of fabric matching Sarah's hiking jacket. Lab tests confirmed it, with traces of blood too degraded for DNA, but positive for human origin. The discovery electrified the case, suggesting violence. Searches intensified around the bunker, dogs alerting to scents in a nearby ravine. Excavations revealed animal bones at first, then a human femur, weathered by time. Heart stopped as forensic anthropologists worked. It belonged to a male in his late teens, matching Alex's build. Dental records confirmed it. Alex Thompson, cause of death undetermined, but with fractures indicating a fall or blow. The news devastated the families, a partial closure that opened fresh wounds. Where were the others? The bones' location suggested dragging, not natural death. Crow's whereabouts became an obsession. Wanted posters blanketed the state. Sightings poured in, false leads mostly, but one credible, a man fitting his description in Wyoming, living under an alias. An arrest attempt failed when he slipped away, heightening the manhunt. The town mourned Alex with a memorial service, his remains laid to rest amid falling snow, but the search for answers, and the others, pressed on. Mia's father vowed, "This isn't the end. It's a map to the truth." The valley's secrets began to unravel, thread by thread, as winter's grip loosened into spring, promising more revelations buried in the thawing earth. Yet, the full story remained elusive, a puzzle with pieces scattered across the unforgiving landscape, waiting for the next dig to expose them. The discovery of Alex Thompson's femur in the Whispering Valley in early 2024 cast a long shadow over Evergreen, Colorado, as spring arrived, thawing the frozen ground and rekindling the town's determination to uncover the fate of Mia, Jordan, and Sarah. The confirmation of Alex's remains, fractured and weathered, was a gut punch to the community, but it also ignited a fierce resolve to find the others and bring whoever was responsible, Harlan Crow or otherwise, to justice. Sheriff Elena Vargas, now working overtime with a task force that had grown to include federal agents, cadaver dogs, and volunteer search teams, shifted focus to the ravine where Alex's bone was found. The site was a treacherous gully, choked with brambles and loose shale, where a fall could easily be fatal, but the fractures suggested something more deliberate. A blow, perhaps, or a violent push. Forensic anthropologists scoured the area, uncovering bone fragments too small for immediate identification, but enough to keep hopes alive that Mia, Jordan, or Sarah might be nearby. The families, grappling with grief for Alex and renewed dread for the others, leaned on each other like never before. Tom Thompson, Alex's father, became a stoic figure at the search site, digging alongside professionals, his face etched with a pain only a parent could know. Elena Rodriguez, Mia's mother, channeled her sorrow into advocacy, launching a foundation to fund missing persons cases, her voice steady in interviews despite her trembling hands. Jordan's sister, Lily, now a computer science major, developed an algorithm to cross-reference hiker sightings from 2018 with known photos of Crow, scouring social media and trail cam footage for leads. Sarah's parents, steeped in their Indian heritage, held nightly vigils, lighting diyas to guide their daughter's spirit home, whether in life or in peace. The ravine yielded more clues, a shredded backpack strap matching Jordan's gear, stained with what tests confirmed as his blood type, and a single hiking boot, size 6, identical to Mia's. These findings, though grim, suggested the teens had been in the valley together, perhaps fleeing or fighting back. Ground-penetrating radar scans intensified, revealing more anomalies, but excavations were slow, hampered by spring mudslides and the valley's unstable terrain. Meanwhile, the manhunt for Harlan Crow escalated. The Wyoming sighting led to a multi-state alert, with his weathered face plastered on billboards and news broadcasts. A tip line overflowed with calls. Most were dead ends, but one, from a gas station clerk in Montana, described a man matching Crow's description buying rope and tarps in late 2018, shortly after the teens vanished. The FBI traced his movements through financial records, uncovering purchases of survival gear in towns near the Rockies, suggesting he was still in the region, living off the grid. Crow's journal, recovered from his bunker, was analyzed by a profiler who noted his escalating paranoia, with entries about protecting my territory and teaching lessons to intruders. One chilling line, dated days after the disappearance, read, "No one will find what's mine." The profiler suggested Crow saw the teens as threats to his isolated existence, possibly stumbling upon his poaching traps or an illegal stash. This theory gained traction when a volunteer found a rusted bear trap in the valley, its jaws crusted with old blood, though DNA tests were inconclusive. Public fascination grew, with true crime documentaries streaming on platforms like Netflix, titled The Mount Evans Four and Buried Secrets of the Rockies. Evergreen became a pilgrimage site for amateur sleuths, some helpful, others trampling evidence in their zeal. Sheriff Vargas cracked down, restricting access to the valley, but tensions flared when a podcaster leaked details of the case, prompting harassment of locals mistaken for Crow. The families, protective of their loved one's memory, issued a joint statement begging for respect and focus on facts. Mia's notebook, now a centerpiece of the investigation, was re-examined by a cryptologist who decoded faint numbers in the margins, coordinates, perhaps pointing to a cave system 5 miles from the ravine. A spelunking team was dispatched, navigating narrow passages slick with moisture, where they found carvings on the walls, initials JL and SB scratched hastily, alongside an arrow pointing deeper inside. The discovery electrified the search, but the cave was unstable, collapsing partially during exploration, forcing a retreat. Sonar equipment was brought in, detecting a void deeper within, too dangerous to reach without heavy machinery. The possibility that Mia, Jordan, or Sarah might have sought refuge or been trapped there kept the families awake at night. Dr. Rachel Kim, the geologist who found the box, partnered with engineers to stabilize the cave for further exploration, her academic career now secondary to the human stakes. Ethan, her student, pored over topographic maps, identifying old mining tunnels that intersected the cave, suggesting a network where someone could hide or hide bodies. The investigation took a darker turn when a second bone was found in the ravine, a tibia matching Sarah's height and age, with cut marks indicating a blade. The families were shattered. Sarah's mother collapsed, clutching the keychain from the box, whispering prayers in Hindi. Yet, no trace of Mia or Jordan's remained surfaced, keeping a flicker of hope alive. The blood on Jordan's strap suggested he fought, perhaps protecting the others. Mia's boot, found half buried, had a scrap of paper inside, a torn sketch of a mountain ridge, with help scrawled in charcoal. This fueled speculation they survived longer than assumed, possibly evading Crow for days. Sheriff Vargas, haunted by the case, interviewed old associates of Crow, uncovering a former hunting partner who claimed Crow bragged about cleaning up messes with a shovel and lime. A search for lime deposits led to a shallow pit in the valley, but it contained only animal carcasses, likely from poaching. The community rallied, funding drones with infrared to scan at night, when cooler temperatures might reveal hidden heat signatures. Lily's algorithm flagged a grainy trail cam photo from 2019, showing a figure resembling Crow dragging a heavy sack near the cave. The FBI prioritized it, but storms delayed further searches. As summer 2024 approached, a breakthrough. A hiker found a rusted knife, not Alex's, buried near the cave entrance, with fibers matching Mia's jacket. Forensic tests confirmed her DNA, suggesting a struggle. The cave became the focal point, with engineers clearing debris to access the void. Inside, they found a makeshift camp, tattered blankets, empty water bottles, and a faint etching of "We're here" in Mia's handwriting. No bodies, but signs of prolonged survival. The families clung to this, imagining the teens hiding, fighting to live. Crow remained at large, but a sting operation in Idaho, based on a tip, nearly caught him, He fled, leaving a backpack with maps circling the valley. The search narrowed, but the Rockies were vast, and time was cruel. Alex and Sarah's remains confirmed their loss, but Mia and Jordan's absence fueled a desperate hope they might still be out there, or that their story would lead to Crow's capture. The families planned a memorial for Alex and Sarah, planting trees on Mount Evans, but vowed to keep searching. The cave's secrets, like the mountains themselves, held tight, but each clue pulled the truth closer, a thread unraveling toward a reckoning that would shake Evergreen to its core. By the summer of 2024, the Whispering Valley had become a grim pilgrimage site, its rugged cliffs and shadowed crevices a testament to Evergreen's unyielding quest for closure. The discovery of Alex and Sarah's remains had hardened the resolve of the families, Sheriff Elena Vargas, and the tight-knit community, but the absence of Mia and Jordan kept hope alive, a fragile flame in the face of mounting evidence of violence. The cave system, with its makeshift camp and Mia's etched plea of "we're here," became the heart of the investigation. Engineers, led by Dr. Rachel Kim, worked tirelessly to stabilize the unstable tunnels, using hydraulic supports to prevent further collapses. The task force expanded, now including caving experts from Colorado State University and a National Guard unit trained in subterranean rescues. Lily, Jordan's sister, took a leave from college to join the effort full-time, her algorithm now a critical tool for analyzing trail cam footage and predicting Crow's movements. Elena Rodriguez, Mia's mother, became a public figure, her foundation raising millions to fund advanced tech, drones with AI-driven imaging, sonar drones for underwater searches in nearby streams, and even a satellite borrowed from a tech mogul to scan the Rockies for heat signatures. Tom Thompson, Alex's father, rarely spoke now, his energy poured into manual labor at the site, hauling debris as if each rock removed brought him closer to answers. Sarah's family, drawing strength from their cultural roots, invited a Navajo tracker, trained in ancient methods, to complement the high-tech approach, his keen eyes spotting subtle signs, a broken twig, a scuff mark that machines missed. The cave yielded chilling discoveries, a stash of granola bar wrappers, matching brands the teens carried, and a torn map fragment with coordinates circled in red ink, pointing to a remote ridge. A second knife, this one with a carved wooden handle, was found wedged in a crevice, its blade bearing traces of Jordan's DNA. The makeshift camp suggested the teens had survived for days, possibly weeks, hiding from their pursuer. Mia's sketchbook, recovered from the box, was re-examined. A linguistics expert decoded more hidden notes, revealing a timeline of their ordeal. Day 3, hiding in dark, he's close. Day 5, no food, Jay hurt. These fragments painted a picture of desperation, a group fighting to stay alive against a relentless threat. The coordinates led to a windswept ridge, where searchers found a shallow pit with charred cloth remnants, testing positive for accelerants. Someone had tried to burn evidence. Forensic teams concluded it was recent, post-2018, suggesting Crow or an accomplice had returned to cover tracks. The hunt for Harlan Crow intensified, with the FBI labeling him a person of extreme interest. A raid in Idaho, based on the backpack lead, uncovered a cache of fake IDs and a burner phone with calls to a now-disconnected number in Denver. A witness, an ex-con who'd shared a bar with Crow in 2020, claimed he'd ranted about kids who wouldn't leave my land alone, hinting at a confrontation gone wrong. The profiler updated her assessment. Crow, a loner with a history of territorial obsession, likely saw the teens as invaders, triggering a violent reaction. His journal entries grew more erratic post-2018, mentioning ghosts in the valley and eyes in the dark, suggesting guilt or paranoia. A breakthrough came in August 2024 when a drone spotted a faint trail leading to an abandoned mine shaft, sealed with boulders. Excavation revealed a hidden chamber, containing a rusted ammo box with a chilling find, a locket Mia always wore, inscribed with her initials, and a bloodied bandage with Jordan's DNA. The chamber showed signs of habitation, scratched tallies on the walls, suggesting days spent trapped. No bodies, but the evidence screamed of a prolonged struggle. The families, especially Mia's and Jordan's, were torn between hope and despair. The locket and bandage suggested survival past the initial attack, but their absence hinted at a darker fate. Sheriff Vargas, her hair now streaked with gray, coordinated with Interpol, suspecting Crow had fled to Canada's wilderness, where survivalists often vanished. A tip from a British Columbia ranger reported a man matching Crow's description trapping game, but he slipped away before capture. Back in Evergreen, the community grappled with its role in the saga. A town hall meeting, packed to capacity, debated safety reforms, better trail monitoring, mandatory check-ins for hikers. True crime tourism surged, with ethical concerns raised by locals tired of gawkers. Lily's algorithm flagged another photo, this one from 2023, showing a man resembling Crow near a Wyoming pawn shop, selling gear that matched items stolen from hikers. The shop's records led to a storage unit, where agents found a duffel bag with a torn jacket, Sarah's, with more cut marks, confirming her violent end. The absence of Mia and Jordan's remains fueled wild theories. Had they escaped, living off-grid like their pursuer? Or were their bodies hidden deeper in the labyrinthine Rockies? Dr. Kim's team mapped the mine network, discovering it connected to the cave, forming a maze where someone could evade detection for years. Ethan, now a graduate student, developed a 3D model of the tunnels, pinpointing unsearched pockets. A September storm delayed exploration, but when it cleared, divers searched a subterranean stream, finding a waterlogged camera, Jordan's, its memory card intact. Data recovery revealed photos from their last days. The group huddled in the cave, faces gaunt, Mia sketching by candlelight, Jordan's arm bandaged. One image showed a shadowy figure at the cave mouth, too blurry for identification but matching the sketch in Mia's notebook. The families wept over these glimpses, proof of resilience, but also of terror. Elena Rodriguez organized a national campaign, Find Mia and Jordan, plastering their faces on milk cartons and billboards. The Navajo tracker found fresh signs, a boot print, too new to be the teens, suggesting someone still roamed the valley. As winter loomed, a final push into the mine uncovered a locked metal door, hidden behind rubble. Breaching it revealed a chilling sight, a shrine-like setup with photos of the teens, clipped from missing posters, and a note in Crow's handwriting. They'll never leave now. No bodies, but the implication was clear. He saw himself as their captor, even in death. The families, devastated, held a vigil at the cave entrance, lighting candles for Alex and Sarah and lanterns for Mia and Jordan, still unaccounted for. Sheriff Vargas vowed to pursue Crow to the ends of the earth, her retirement a distant memory. The community planted a grove on the ridge, each tree bearing a plaque for the four friends. The mystery, though closer to resolution, remained open, the mountains guarding their final secrets. Mia and Jordan's fate, alive, dead, or lost in the wild, hung like mist over Whispering Valley, a haunting reminder that some truths emerge only when the earth itself decides to yield. As winter 2024 descended on Whispering Valley, the Rockies cloaked themselves in snow, slowing the relentless search for Mia Rodriguez and Jordan Lee, yet the flame of hope in Evergreen, Colorado, burned brighter than ever, fueled by the haunting discoveries in the cave and mine. The locked metal door, with its eerie shrine of missing posters and Harlan Crow's chilling note, "They'll never leave now," had shifted the investigation into a psychological chess game. Sheriff Elena Vargas, her face lined with years of sleepless nights, coordinated with an FBI behavioral analysis unit to decode Crow's mindset, now convinced he was not just a survivalist, but a predator with a twisted sense of ownership over the valley. The absence of Mia and Jordan's remains, paired with signs of prolonged survival, granola wrappers, a bandage, Mia's locket, suggested they might have outwitted Crow longer than Alex and Sarah, possibly still alive or hidden in the vast subterranean network. The families, battered but unyielding, rallied around this hope. Elena Rodriguez, Mia's mother, expanded her foundation, securing grants for cutting-edge tech, AI-driven facial recognition to scan regional footage for Crow, and microdrones capable of navigating tight cave passages. Lily Lee, Jordan's sister, refined her algorithm, now processing thousands of trail cam images daily, flagging anomalies that human eyes might miss. Tom Thompson, Alex's father, withdrew into stoic silence, but his presence at the valley was constant, clearing snow from dig sites with a resolve that inspired volunteers. Sarah's family, blending their Indian heritage with local traditions, worked with a Navajo tracker, whose name, Sila Begay, became synonymous with quiet wisdom. He found faint carvings in the mine, arrows and initials, suggesting a path deeper into the earth. The task force, now a small army of specialists, focused on the mine's uncharted tunnels, where sonar had detected voids too deep for manual exploration. Engineers, guided by Dr. Rachel Kim, deployed robotic crawlers equipped with cameras, revealing a labyrinth of collapsed shafts and natural caverns. One crawler captured footage of a narrow passage with fresh scratches on the walls, as if someone had clawed their way through. Inside, they found a tattered journal page, unmistakably Mia's, with a sketch of a starry sky and the words, Day 12. Jay says keep moving north. The date, if accurate, meant they survived at least 2 weeks after the fog incident in 2018, a revelation that electrified the families. Forensic analysis of the page showed traces of charcoal and blood, Jordan's, suggesting injury but mobility. The coordinates from the earlier map fragment were recalibrated, pointing to a northern spur of the valley, a region so remote it lacked even old mining records. A new search grid was established, but blizzards forced delays, testing the patience of all involved. Meanwhile, the manhunt for Harlan Crow took a dramatic turn. A tip from a Canadian trapper in British Columbia reported a man living in a camouflaged lean-to, trading pelts for supplies. The description matched Crow. Gaunt, bearded, with a scar above his left eye from a bar fight years ago. A joint RCMP-FBI operation raided the site, finding a fire pit with burned fabric scraps, later identified as remnants of a hiking jacket, like Mia's. Crow had fled, but left behind a crude map etched on bark, circling a lake 10 miles from the valley. Divers searched its icy waters, recovering a weighted sack with climbing gear, ropes, and carabiners, linked to a 2018 theft near Mount Evans. No bodies, but the find suggested Crow disposed of evidence there. His journal, now fully transcribed, revealed a fixation on the teens as trespassers who saw too much, hinting at an illegal operation, possibly poaching rare wildlife or running contraband through the mountains. A retired ranger recalled Crow's ties to a black market ring in the 2010s, trading elk antlers and bear pelts, which the teens might have stumbled upon. Public interest surged, with Evergreen's economy strained by media crews and true crime fans. A Netflix series, The Valley's Ghosts, sparked debates over exploitation, prompting the families to hire a lawyer to control their narrative. Elena Rodriguez spoke at a national conference, her voice breaking as she held up Mia's locket, pleading for tips. Lily's algorithm flagged a 2024 photo from a Montana gas station, showing a man resembling Crow buying fuel. The timestamp placed him near the Canadian border. The FBI traced the transaction to a stolen credit card, tightening the net. In the valley, Sela Begay found a hidden crevice near the lake, concealed by brush, containing a rusted tin with a microSD card, Jordan's, from his camera. Data recovery revealed a final video, Mia and Jordan, emaciated, whispering in a cave, planning to head for the light. The footage cut to static, but a faint male voice, not Jordan's, growled, "You can't run forever." The families wept, clinging to the image of their resilience. The northern spur became the new focus, with volunteers braving sub-zero temperatures to excavate. A dog alerted to a scent in a snow-covered hollow, uncovering a buried pack with Mia's sketchbook, its final page a map to a safe place, marked with a star. Nearby, a human rib bone was found, too degraded for immediate DNA, but its size matched Jordan's frame. The families braced for the worst, yet the absence of Mia's remains kept hope alive. Dr. Kim's team mapped the spur, finding it riddled with sinkholes leading to deeper caves. A robotic crawler sent into one returned with a chilling image, a human handprint in dried blood on a stalactite. Tests were ongoing, but the size suggested Mia's. Sheriff Vargas, nearing collapse from exhaustion, pursued a lead on Crow's family, uncovering a cousin in Denver who admitted sheltering him briefly in 2020. The cousin provided a burner phone number, traced to a tower near the lake, suggesting Crow was circling back to the valley. A sting operation in January 2025 caught a man matching his description, but he was a drifter, not Crow, carrying a knife etched with HC, a gift, he claimed, from a man he met in the woods. The families, especially Elena and Lily, refused to let despair win. A community fundraiser built a permanent search base in the valley, equipped with heated tents and satellite uplinks. Sela's tracking led to a final clue, a cave mouth, sealed with fresh boulders, suggesting recent activity. As spring 2025 loomed, engineers prepared to breach it, believing it held the final piece of the puzzle. The families gathered, lighting lanterns for Mia and Jordan, their faces etched with hope and fear. Crow's shadow loomed large, but so did the teens' courage, etched in every clue they left behind. The valley, silent for too long, was ready to speak, its secrets poised to unravel under the weight of a town's unbreakable will. As spring 2025 bloomed in Whispering Valley, the Rockies shed their winter shroud, revealing muddy trails and swollen streams that both hindered and spurred the relentless search for Mia Rodriguez and Jordan Lee. The sealed cave mouth, discovered by Navajo tracker Tsilibagay, became the focal point of Evergreen's hopes and fears, its freshly placed boulders suggesting someone, likely Harlan Crow, had something to hide. Sheriff Elena Vargas, her career now defined by this case, marshaled a coalition of engineers, caving experts, and FBI agents to breach the barrier, their heavy machinery humming under the watchful eyes of the families. Elena Rodriguez, Mia's mother, stood vigil daily, her foundation's funds now supporting a mobile command center equipped with real-time satellite feeds and AI analytics. Lily Lee, Jordan's sister, had become a linchpin in the tech effort, her algorithm now integrated with FBI databases, sifting through years of regional data for traces of Crow. Tom Thompson, Alex's father, worked alongside the engineers, his grief for his son, and Sarah now a quiet fuel for finding the others. Sarah's family, their Indian traditions a source of strength, burned incense at the site, their prayers blending with the drone of drills. Sela, whose intuition had guided the search to this point, scouted the surrounding cliffs, finding faint boot prints, too recent to be the teens, etched in the thawing mud. The breach took days, the boulders yielding to reveal a narrow tunnel descending into darkness. Robotic crawlers, sent first for safety, returned with footage of a cavern strewn with debris, rusted cans, a torn sleeping bag, and a carved wooden staff, its handle etched with HC, Crow's initials. The discovery sent a jolt through the team, but the real shock came when a crawler's light caught a glint of metal, a locket, identical to Mia's but not the one found earlier, lying beside a crumpled note in Jordan's handwriting. Day 20, still alive, but he's close. Mia says North Star. The note, dated weeks after their 2018 disappearance, suggested they had evaded capture far longer than imagined, possibly navigating the cave network by starlight visible through shaft openings. Forensic teams swarmed the cavern, finding hair strands matching Mia's DNA and a bloodied rag with Jordan's, but no bodies. The staff, analyzed in Denver, bore traces of a sedative, hinting Crow may have drugged his prey to subdue them. The families clung to the note's words, proof of their children's resilience, but the sedative raised chilling questions. Had Crow kept them alive for a purpose? The manhunt for him intensified, with fresh leads from Canada. A trapper's report placed a man matching Crow's description near a Yukon cabin, trading furs for ammo. The RCMP raided it, finding a journal page in Crow's scrawl. They saw the traps, had to stop them. It referenced illegal snares for endangered species, suggesting the teen stumbled upon his poaching operation, triggering his wrath. The FBI profiler updated her analysis. Crow's paranoia, rooted in his off-grid lifestyle, had morphed into a godlike delusion, viewing the valley as his domain and the teens as trespassers to be punished. A sting in Montana, based on Lily's algorithm flagging a pawn shop sale, recovered a rifle scope stolen from a 2018 hiker, linked to Crow through fingerprints. He remained a ghost, slipping through every net, but his mistakes were mounting. Back in the valley, the cavern revealed a deeper chamber, accessible only by rappelling. Cavers descended, finding a chilling scene. A circle of stones, like a ritual site, with 4 backpacks, Alex's, Sarah's, Mia's, and Jordan's, arranged as if in tribute. Inside Mia's pack was a final sketch, a map of the cave system, marking a light at the end, with a star symbol. The backpacks contained personal items, a photo of the group laughing, a friendship bracelet, a half-eaten protein bar, tearing at the family's hearts. No remains, but the arrangement suggested Crow's warped obsession, preserving their belongings like trophies. A faint trail of blood drops, too degraded for DNA, led to a collapsed tunnel, hinting at a desperate escape attempt. Engineers worked to clear it, but the risk of cave-in slowed progress. Public fascination reached a fever pitch, with Evergreen overrun by media and sleuths. A viral podcast, Echoes of the Lost, sparked controversy by suggesting a second suspect, a partner of Crow's, unseen in records. Sheriff Vargas investigated, uncovering a 2018 police report of a transient, John Doe, spotted with Crow near the trailhead, described as younger, with a limp. No trace of Doe existed, but the lead fueled speculation of a duo. The families, wary of sensationalism, focused on facts, with Elena Rodriguez addressing crowds at a Denver rally, holding up Jordan's note as a call to action. Lily's algorithm flagged a 2025 trail cam image, a limping figure, not Crow, near the valley, carrying a sack. The FBI prioritized it, suspecting Doe's involvement. Sela's tracking uncovered a hidden cache near the cave, ammo, a burner phone, and a map with a new set of coordinates, pointing to a high-altitude plateau. A helicopter survey spotted a makeshift shelter, abandoned but warm, with embers still glowing. Inside were scraps of cloth matching Jordan's jacket and a knife with Mia's initials, carved as if in defiance. The families, especially Elena and Lily, saw this as proof Mia and Jordan might have reached the plateau, perhaps still evading Crow. A ground team searched, finding a cave with signs of recent habitation, ashes, a water filter, and a crude spear. No bodies, but a scratched message on the wall read, "M&J, never stop." The families wept, envisioning their fight for survival. Dr. Rachel Kim, now a permanent fixture, used her geological expertise to predict cave stability, guiding searches. Ethan, her former student, developed a drone with thermal imaging, detecting a faint heat signature in a sealed shaft. Excavation revealed a skeleton. Not Mia or Jordan's, but an unidentified male, possibly Doe, with a bullet wound to the skull. The find suggested infighting, perhaps Crow eliminating a loose end. The families, grappling with this twist, held a vigil, lighting lanterns for Mia and Jordan, whose absence now felt like a beacon. Sheriff Vargas, sensing the endgame, coordinated a final push as summer 2025 neared. A tip placed Crow in Idaho, living under an alias. A raid captured him at last, a gaunt, wild-eyed man, ranting about his valley. Interrogations yielded cryptic answers. He admitted to scaring the teens but denied murder, claiming they ran into the dark. His words hinted at the Plateau Cave, where a final search uncovered a locked chest. Inside were Mia's final sketches and Jordan's broken watch, stopped at 3:17 a.m., July 29, 2018. No bodies, but the families felt their presence. Crow's trial loomed, but Mia and Jordan's fate remained a question mark, their courage etched in every clue. Evergreen vowed to search on, the valley's secrets whispering of a truth still waiting to be unearthed. Since you've requested another next paragraph, I'll proceed with an 8th installment of the story, continuing from the summer of 2025. I'll maintain the 4,000-word length in U.S. English, as per your initial instructions and the established pattern. Given no new specific directions, this paragraph will advance the narrative, focusing on Harlan Crow's capture, his trial, and the ongoing search for Mia and Jordan, while introducing a final twist to deepen the mystery and explore the possibility of their survival or a new revelation in Whispering Valley. The emotional weight of the family's journey, Evergreen's resilience, and the valley's secrets will remain central. If you have specific preferences, e.g., a different focus, tone, or a new story, please clarify, and I'll adjust accordingly. The capture of Harlan Crow in the summer of 2025 sent shockwaves through Evergreen, Colorado, but it was only the beginning of unraveling the enigma that had haunted Whispering Valley for 7 years. Crow, gaunt and defiant, was apprehended in an Idaho cabin, his wild eyes and cryptic rants about his valley, offering little clarity on Mia Rodriguez and Jordan Lee's fate. The locked chest found in the Plateau Cave, containing Mia's final sketches and Jordan's broken watch, stopped at 3:17 a.m. on July 29, 2018, became the centerpiece of the investigation, a bittersweet relic of their fight for survival. Sheriff Elena Vargas, her resolve tempered by years of chasing ghosts, prepared for Crow's trial, knowing it would be a battle to extract truth from a man who spoke in riddles. The families, Elena Rodriguez, Lily Lee, Tom Thompson, and Sarah's parents, stood united, their grief for Alex and Sarah now intertwined with a desperate hope for Mia and Jordan. Elena, Mia's mother, channeled her foundation's resources into legal support, hiring a top prosecutor to ensure Crow faced justice. Lily, Jordan's sister, refined her algorithm to analyze Crow's seized belongings, maps, burner phones, and cryptic notes for clues to the teen's final days. Tom, a shadow of his former self, attended every search, his hands calloused from digging in the valley's unforgiving soil. Sarah's family, drawing on their Indian heritage, held a ceremony at the plateau, scattering marigold petals to honor the lost and guide the living, their prayers a quiet counterpoint to the media storm. The trial, set for fall 2025 in Denver, drew global attention, with court TV broadcasting live and true crime forums buzzing with theories. Crow, represented by a public defender, pleaded not guilty, claiming the teens got lost after he warned them off his land. His journal, admitted as evidence, painted a darker picture. Entries about silencing intruders and hiding what's mine suggested intent, but lacked direct admission of murder. The prosecution leaned on physical evidence: the bloodied knives, Mia's locket, Jordan's bandage, the shrine-like backpack arrangement, arguing Crow stalked and killed the teens to protect his poaching operation. A surprise witness, a former cellmate from Crow's 2017 poaching arrest, testified he'd bragged about making kids disappear in the Rockies, chilling the courtroom. Yet, Crow's defense countered with his mental state, citing paranoia and isolation, painting him as a delusional hermit, not a calculated killer. The absence of Mia and Jordan's remains weakened the case, leaving room for doubt. Meanwhile, searches in Whispering Valley intensified, spurred by the chest's contents. Mia's sketches, meticulously detailed, mapped a route through the cave network to a light at the end, marked with a star and the word freedom. Forensic linguists analyzed her notes, concluding she and Jordan planned an escape north, possibly toward a rumored ranger outpost. Jordan's watch, its crystal cracked, held a micro-SD card, missed in earlier searches. Data recovery revealed a final audio, Jordan's voice hoarse, saying, "Mia, we're almost there. Keep going," followed by footsteps and a distant shout, not Crow's. The voice, analyzed by experts, suggested a second person, reviving the John Doe theory, a limping transient scene with Crow in 2018. The family seized on this, believing Mia and Jordan might have evaded both men, perhaps reaching the outpost or beyond. Dr. Rachel Kim, the geologist whose discovery of the buried box started it all, led a new expedition to the northern caves, using 3D mapping to trace Mia's sketched route. Sela Begay, the Navajo tracker, found fresh signs: a scuffed rock, a broken branch, indicating recent activity, too new for the teens but suggesting someone else roamed the valley. A drone survey spotted a hidden crevice, sealed with wire mesh, containing a cache, a water canteen, a flint striker, and a torn photo of Mia and Jordan, taken before the hike, with "survive" scrawled on the back. The canteen's water, tested for isotopes, matched a spring near the plateau, suggesting recent use. The families, especially Elena and Lily, clung to this as proof of prolonged survival, imagining Mia and Jordan hiding, perhaps still alive. The FBI reopened the John Doe lead, identifying him as Caleb Morse, a drifter with a rap sheet for petty theft, last seen in Colorado in 2019. A tip from a Wyoming barmaid placed Morse with Crow post-disappearance, hinting at a partnership gone sour. The skeleton found in the mine, with a bullet wound, was confirmed as Morse's through dental records, suggesting Crow killed him to tie up loose ends. This shifted the trial's narrative. Crow wasn't a lone wolf but part of a duo, with Morse as a volatile accomplice. The prosecution argued the teens stumbled upon their poaching camp, triggering a deadly chase. Crow's rants grew erratic in custody, mentioning a safe place where no one finds you, aligning with Mia's sketch star. A search team, guided by Sela, followed the sketch to a high-altitude meadow, where a collapsed ranger outpost was found, buried under decades of overgrowth. Inside, they discovered signs of habitation: charred wood, a makeshift bed, and a carved message: M&J, August 18th. The date, a month after their disappearance, suggested they reached it, but no remains were found. A blood smear, testing positive for Mia's DNA, indicated injury, not death. The families, torn between hope and anguish, funded a new search grid, using AI drones to scan for heat signatures. Lily's algorithm flagged a 2025 sighting of two figures, gaunt and ragged, near a Montana reservation, dismissed as vagrants, but matching Mia and Jordan's descriptions. The lead, though thin, sparked a frenzy. Elena Rodriguez flew to Montana, canvassing with photos, her heart racing at every unconfirmed sighting. Sheriff Vargas, nearing collapse, pursued Crow's safe place, interrogating him for hours. He smirked, muttering about a cave where stars shine, hinting at a skylight in the network. A caving team, led by Ethan, now a PhD candidate, found it. A cavern with a natural skylight, littered with survival gear, a rope ladder, dried berries, and a notebook page with Mia's handwriting. We're free, but he's still out there. No bodies, but the gear was recent, post-2018. The families, galvanized, believed Mia and Jordan might have escaped, living off-grid to avoid Crow. As the trial concluded, Crowe was convicted of Alex and Sarah's murders, sentenced to life, but remained silent on Mia and Jordan. The meadow became a shrine, with Evergreen planting wildflowers in their names. Elena and Lily vowed to search on, following every lead to Montana and beyond. Selah found one final clue, a bead from Mia's necklace, caught in a thorn bush miles from the outpost, fresh enough to suggest recent passage. The valley's secrets, once buried, were surfacing, whispering of two teens who defied the odds, their story a testament to courage, waiting for the day they'd come home. As fall 2025 painted Whispering Valley in hues of amber and crimson, Evergreen, Colorado, stood on the edge of revelation, the conviction of Harlan Crowe for the murders of Alex Thompson and Sarah Patel offering a hollow victory, while Mia Rodriguez and Jordan Lee remained phantoms in the Rockies' vast embrace. Crowe's life sentence, handed down in a packed Denver courtroom, did little to quell the family's burning need for closure, his cryptic taunts about a cave where stars shine and a safe place fueling speculation that Mia and Jordan might still be alive. Sheriff Elena Vargas, her badge now a symbol of an unfinished vow, redirected the task force to the Montana lead, a 2025 trail cam image of two gaunt figures, dismissed as vagrants, but eerily resembling the missing teens. Elena Rodriguez, Mia's mother, had become a tireless advocate, her foundation now a national force, funding a mobile search unit that scoured the Montana wilderness with drones and K-9 teams. Lily Lee, Jordan's sister, enhanced her algorithm, cross-referencing the sighting with regional missing persons reports, uncovering a pattern of unexplained disappearances near the Crowe Reservation, hinting at a larger network tied to Crowe's poaching. Tom Thompson, Alex's father, haunted by the loss of his son, joined the Montana effort, his stoic presence a quiet anchor for volunteers. Sarah's family, their Indian heritage grounding them, performed a Diwali ritual at the valley's edge, lighting oil lamps to guide Mia and Jordan home, their faith unshaken despite the years. Selah Begay, the Navajo tracker, followed the bead from Mia's necklace to a Montana trail, finding a faint path marked by deliberate scratches, possibly Mia's, echoing her sketched maps. The cave where stars shine, mentioned by Crowe, became the heart of the Colorado search. Dr. Rachel Kim, the geologist whose discovery of the buried box had reignited the case, led a team to the Skylight Cavern, its natural ceiling open to the night sky. Inside, they found fresh evidence, a makeshift fire pit, still warm, with charred remnants of a journal page in Mia's handwriting. Day 47, Jay's fever worse, found water, can't trust the light. The date, August 2018, suggested they survived nearly 2 months, a testament to their tenacity. Forensic analysis revealed traces of antibiotics in the ash, hinting they'd accessed supplies, possibly stolen from Crowe's stashes. A rope, frayed but recent, dangled from the skylight, suggesting an escape or pursuit. The families, especially Elena and Lily, seized on this, believing Mia and Jordan had climbed out, heading north as their notes suggested. The Montana sighting gained traction when a reservation elder reported seeing 2 young people, malnourished and skittish, trading handmade jewelry, Mia's signature beads, for food in late 2024. The elder's description matched the teens, down to Jordan's glasses, cracked but recognizable. A search team, including Selah, scoured the area, finding a lean-to with a carved stick. M and J still here. The carving, fresh within months, sent Elena and Lily into a frenzy of hope, their plane tickets to Montana booked within hours. Sheriff Vargas, her health faltering under the case's weight, coordinated with Montana authorities, suspecting Crowe had allies hiding the teens or their traces. A new lead emerged, an encrypted burner phone from Crowe's Idaho cabin, cracked by Lily's tech contacts, revealed texts to an unknown contact in 2019. They're gone, but not far. Check the river. The river, a tributary of the Flathead in Montana, was searched, yielding a waterlogged backpack with Jordan's initials and a sketch by Mia of a mountain pass, labeled Last Chance. No bodies, but the find suggested they'd reached Montana, possibly evading Crowe's network. The trial's aftermath uncovered a twist. Crowe's public defender, digging into his past, found a sealed juvie record from the 1980s, hinting at a prior incident, a missing hiker in Wyoming, never solved. The profiler suggested Crowe's obsession with his land stemmed from a childhood trauma, perhaps a lost sibling, driving his territorial violence. This led to a re-examination of the John Doe skeleton, Kayla Morse, revealing he was Crow's distant cousin, suggesting a family tie to the poaching ring. A raid on a Montana storage unit linked to Morse uncovered ledgers detailing illegal wildlife trades with a 2018 entry. Kids saw the traps, handled it. The families, shaken, believed Mia and Jordan witnessed something worth killing for. In Whispering Valley, a caving team pushed deeper, finding a sealed chamber beyond the Skylight Cavern. Inside was a chilling discovery, a metal box, like the one from 2023, containing a braid of Mia's red hair and Jordan's glasses, lenses shattered. A note in Mia's hand read, "If you find this, we tried. Tell Mom we love her." Elena Rodriguez collapsed, clutching the braid, but refused to accept death without bodies. Lily, analyzing the note's ink, found it was recent, possibly 2024, suggesting they survived years longer than assumed. The chamber held a hidden exit, a narrow shaft leading to a cliff face, where Tsila found footprints, small, like Mia's, heading toward a pass. Drones scanned it, detecting a faint heat signature, but a rockslide buried the trail before teams could reach it. The Montana search intensified, with locals reporting whispers of ghost kids living off the land, stealing food from campsites. A ranger found a campsite with Mia's beads and a spear, its tip sharpened from bone, suggesting survivalist skills. Sheriff Vargas, on medical leave but refusing to quit, interrogated Crow again, his smirk fading when shown the new box. He muttered about a river bend where stars reflect, pointing to the Flathead's northern fork. Divers found a sunken crate, containing climbing gear and a photo of the four friends, defaced with scratches over Alex and Sarah's faces. Mia and Jordan's were untouched, fueling hope. The community, weary but unbroken, held a festival to honor the teens, with a mural of Mia's sketches unveiled downtown. Elena Rodriguez spoke, her voice steady. "They're out there, fighting to come home." Lily's algorithm flagged a final lead, a 2025 hospital record from a Montana clinic treating 2 unidentified youths for malnutrition, released before IDs were confirmed. The nurse recalled a girl with red hair and a boy with a limp, matching Jordan's old injury. The families rushed to the clinic, finding no trace but a left-behind sketch, Mia's, of a starry sky. As winter 2025 loomed, Evergreen planted a star-shaped garden in the valley, each point a tribute to the four friends. Tsila, tracking the pass, found a fresh carving, M and J alive. The families, fueled by this, vowed to search until the truth emerged, whether in a Montana wilderness or a hidden cave. Crow's silence, the valley's secrets, and the teens' courage wove a tapestry of hope and mystery, waiting for the final thread to unravel. As winter 2025 tightened its grip on Whispering Valley, the faint hope of finding Mia Rodriguez and Jordan Lee alive burned fiercely in Evergreen, Colorado, a beacon against the snow-laden peaks. The Montana clinic lead, a nurse's recollection of 2 malnourished youths, a girl with red hair and a boy with a limp, paired with a starry sky sketch unmistakably Mia's, had galvanized the families, sending Elena Rodriguez and Lily Lee racing to the Crow Reservation with a renewed sense of urgency. Sheriff Elena Vargas, though sidelined by health issues, refused to step back, coordinating from a hospital bed via satellite link, her voice a steady anchor for the task force. The river bend where stars reflect, Crow's cryptic clue from his final interrogation, pointed to the northern fork of the Flathead River, a remote stretch where moonlight danced on the water, creating a mirror of the night sky. The families, joined by Tom Thompson and Sarah's parents, funded a massive search operation, blending high-tech tools with Tsila Begay's ancestral tracking skills. Elena Rodriguez's foundation, now a household name, deployed AI drones with thermal imaging and underwater robots to scour the river's depths, while Lily's algorithm sifted through reservation reports, uncovering whispers of ghost kids who traded beads for bread, their descriptions eerily matching Mia and Jordan. Tom, his grief for Alex a silent weight, patrolled the riverbanks, his eyes scanning for any sign, a footprint, a scrap of cloth. Sarah's family, their Indian heritage a source of resilience, held a prayer circle under the Montana stars, their chants merging with the river's murmur, seeking guidance for the lost. Tsila, the Navajo tracker, found a trail of broken reeds leading to a hidden cove where a makeshift raft, crafted from logs and twine, suggested a desperate crossing. A bead from Mia's necklace, caught in the mud, confirmed the teens had been there, possibly as recently as 2024. The discovery electrified the search, but the river held darker secrets. Divers probing the bend found a weighted net entangled in roots, containing a backpack with Jordan's tech gear, a cracked drone remote, and a USB drive. Data recovery revealed a video. Mia and Jordan, skeletal and shivering, whispering by a campfire. Mia saying, "We can't stop, Jay. He'll find us." A shadow moved behind them, not Crow's gaunt frame but a broader figure, reviving the John Doe theory. The video cut off, but audio captured a low voice. "You shouldn't have seen the cages." Forensic linguists analyzed it, suggesting a third player, possibly a poacher tied to Crow's network. The cages hinted at an illegal wildlife operation, likely what the teens stumbled upon in 2018, triggering their ordeal. Back in Colorado, Dr. Rachel Kim's team returned to the cave where stars shine, its skylight now a symbol of hope and dread. A new chamber, accessed via a reinforced shaft, revealed a chilling find. A metal trapdoor, rusted but locked, with scratches around the latch as if clawed open. Inside was a cramped cell, barely 6 feet wide, with tally marks etched into the stone, hundreds, suggesting months of captivity. A torn scrap of Mia's sketchbook lay in the corner, depicting a river under stars, with "run" scrawled in blood. Forensic tests confirmed the blood as Jordan's, mixed with traces of a tranquilizer, echoing the sedative on Crow's staff. The cell, a relic of old mining days, suggested Crow or his accomplice held the teens, perhaps alive for months, explaining their prolonged survival signs. The families, especially Elena and Lily, were shattered yet emboldened, believing Mia and Jordan fought to escape, possibly reaching Montana. The Montana search intensified, with reservation locals sharing stories of a red-haired girl seen weaving baskets near the river in early 2025. A child's drawing, found in a community center, showed 2 stick figures fleeing a bear-like man, eerily similar to Mia's sketches of a shadowy pursuer. Sela tracked a path from the cove to a forested ridge, finding a lean-to with fresh ashes and a carved arrow, M&J North. The carving, dated by moss growth, was no older than 6 months, sparking hope they were still moving. Lily's algorithm flagged a new lead, a 2025 police report from a Montana border town, detailing a theft of medical supplies, antibiotics, bandages, by 2 youths, one limping. The description matched Jordan's old ankle injury, worsened by their ordeal. Elena Rodriguez canvassed the town, showing Mia's sketch to shopkeepers, one recalling a quiet girl trading a beaded bracelet for food. The bracelet, recovered from evidence, matched Mia's style, its beads identical to those found in the valley. Sheriff Vargas, now reliant on a cane, flew to Montana, interrogating Crow via video link. He smirked, muttering about a river that hides everything, but his eyes flickered when shown the cell's photos, hinting at suppressed guilt. The FBI, digging into Crow's network, uncovered a ledger in Morse's storage unit, listing payments to a Ranger X for cleanup in 2018. A retired forest ranger, now living in Idaho, was questioned, admitting he'd turned a blind eye to Crow's poaching for cash, but denied involvement in the teen's fate. His alibi held, but his maps pointed to a hidden cabin near the river bend, missed in earlier searches. A raid found it abandoned, but inside was a chilling shrine. Photos of the 4 teens, pinned to a board, with Mia and Jordan's marked escaped. A bloodied rope, testing positive for both their DNA, suggested a violent struggle. The families, grappling with this, refused to lose hope. Elena Rodriguez organized a national Find M&J campaign, with billboards across Montana and Canada. Lily's algorithm traced a stolen truck from the border town to a Canadian logging camp, where workers reported seeing a limping man and a red-haired woman, scavenging at night. A search team, including Sela, found a cave near the camp, its entrance hidden by snow. Inside was a fire pit, still warm, with a sketch, Mia's, of a mountain pass labeled home. A journal page, in Jordan's hand, read, "Day 2374, still running, Mia's stronger than me." The date, July 2025, stunned the families, suggesting they'd survived 7 years. No bodies, but a fresh footprint, small, like Mia's, led to a frozen stream. Divers found a submerged bag with their IDs, undamaged, as if recently dropped. The families, tears mixing with hope, believed Mia and Jordan were alive, evading a shadow that still hunted them. Evergreen held a winter vigil, lighting a star-shaped bonfire in the valley, its glow mirroring the river's reflection. Sela found a final clue, a bead necklace, half buried in the stream, with a note. "We're close, don't stop." Elena and Lily, clutching the note, vowed to follow every trail, their hearts tethered to the teen's unbreakable spirit. Crow's trial faded, but his words lingered, the river and caves whispering of a truth on the verge of breaking free, waiting for one last discovery to bring Mia and Jordan home, or lay their story to rest. As the icy dawn of January 2026 broke over the Flathead River's northern fork in Montana, the search for Mia Rodriguez and Jordan Lee reached a fevered pitch, driven by the discovery of their IDs and a note. "We're close, don't stop," in a frozen stream near a Canadian logging camp. Evergreen, Colorado, though hundreds of miles away, pulsed with the same desperate hope, its community tethered to the fate of the two teens who had defied the odds for 7 years. Sheriff Elena Vargas, now reliant on a wheelchair but unyielding, led the investigation from a makeshift command center in Montana, her voice crackling over satellite links as she coordinated with the FBI, RCMP, and local trackers. Elena Rodriguez, Mia's mother, had transformed her foundation into a global network, funding helicopters, thermal drones, and a team of survival experts to scour the borderlands. Lily Lee, Jordan's sister, pushed her algorithm to its limits, analyzing satellite imagery and social media for any trace of the red-haired girl and limping boy reported near the Crow Reservation. Tom Thompson, Alex's father, haunted by the loss of his son and Sarah, joined the Montana effort, his shovel a constant companion as he dug through snowdrifts for clues. Sarah's family, their Indian heritage a source of spiritual strength, held a prayer vigil by the river, their diyas floating on the icy current, a silent plea for Mia and Jordan's return. Sela Begay, the Navajo tracker whose instincts had guided the search to this point, followed the stream's path, finding a trail of deliberate markers, stacked stones, a carved twig, suggesting Mia's handiwork, her artist's eye leaving signs for rescue. The note's fresh ink and the undamaged IDs hinted at their presence as recently as late 2025, fueling the family's belief they were alive, still running from the shadow of Harlan Crow or his unseen allies. The river bend where stars reflect, Crow's haunting phrase, became the search's epicenter. Drones mapped the Flathead's curves, identifying a secluded cove where the water mirrored the night sky, its surface unbroken except for ripples from hidden currents. Divers, braving the frigid depths, found a sunken crate, its contents a gut punch, a sketchbook page with Mia's starry sky drawing, now faded but marked with day 2400, Jay's week, but we're here. The date, August 2025, suggested they had survived into their 7th year, a miracle that brought Elena Rodriguez to tears as she clutched the page. Forensic analysis revealed traces of fish oil on the paper, indicating they'd been eating river trout, a survival skill Jordan had learned from his father. A nearby find, a broken arrowhead, carved from bone, bore Jordan's initials, suggesting he'd crafted tools to keep them alive. The cove held more, a hidden cave, its entrance cloaked by willow branches, containing a makeshift shelter with a fire pit, blankets woven from grass, and a pile of beads matching Mia's necklace. A message, scratched into a rock, read, M&J, follow the stars north. The families, especially Elena and Lily, saw this as proof of their resilience, but the cave's emptiness raised fears they'd moved on, or been taken. Sela's tracking led to a faint trail, marked by a single red hair caught in a thorn, confirming Mia's presence. The trail vanished at a cliff face, suggesting a climb or a fall, but no bodies were found, keeping hope alive. Back in Colorado, Dr. Rachel Kim's team returned to Whispering Valley, re-examining the cave where stars shine for missed clues. A new scan, using advanced sonar, detected a hidden chamber behind the cell where Mia's bloodied sketch was found. Engineers breached it, revealing a chilling scene, a shrine-like alcove with 4 stones, each etched with a teen's initials, at SP, MR, JL, arranged in a circle around a rusted knife. The knife, unlike Crow's, bore a symbol, a crescent moon, linked to a defunct poaching ring active in the Rockies during the 2010s. Forensic tests found DNA from all 4 teens, suggesting Crow or an accomplice had collected trophies after a prolonged hunt. A hidden compartment held a map, drawn in charcoal, mirroring Mia's sketches but with a new detail, a safe haven, marked beyond the Montana border, near a lake in Canada's Selkirk Mountains. The map, dated 2019, suggested Crow revisited the site, possibly tracking the escaped teens. The families, shaken, believed Mia and Jordan had outrun him, perhaps reaching Canada. Sheriff Vargas, her health failing, interrogated Crow again, his smirk fading when shown the map. He muttered about a lake where no one looks, hinting at the Selkirks, but refusing to elaborate. The FBI, digging into the crescent moon symbol, uncovered ties to a smuggling network, suggesting Crow wasn't alone but part of a larger operation that silenced the teens for witnessing their traps. The Montana search shifted north, following the map to the Selkirks. A Canadian ranger reported a 2025 sighting of two figures, ragged but alive, fishing by a lake. A search team, including Tsila and Lily, found a campsite with fresh signs, a fire pit, a braided rope, and a sketch, Mia's, of the lake under stars, labeled home. A bloodied bandage, testing positive for Jordan's DNA, indicated he was still injured but mobile. The families, clinging to this, funded a massive operation, with helicopters scanning the dense forest. A breakthrough came in February 2026. A trapper's dog unearthed a buried satchel, containing Mia's final notebook and Jordan's cracked phone. The notebook held a letter. "Mom, Lily, we're alive, but can't come back yet. He's still out there. Follow the lake to the end." The phone's last photo, timestamped September 2025, showed Mia and Jordan, gaunt but standing, against a starry sky. The image, grainy but clear, brought Elena and Lily to their knees, their tears mixing with hope. The letter's ink was fresh, suggesting they were near. A drone spotted a faint smoke trail, leading to a cave by the lake. Inside, searchers found a fire, still warm, with fish bones and a carved message. M&J, 2026. No teens, but the sign screamed of recent survival. A twist emerged. A Canadian smuggler, arrested for wildlife trafficking, confessed to aiding Crow in 2018, claiming he'd seen two teens escape a trap near the Flathead. He described a safe haven cabin in the Selkirks, used by poachers to hide contraband. A raid found it empty, but littered with clues. A bead bracelet, Mia's, and a tech manual with Jordan's notes. A hidden trapdoor led to a bunker, containing a radio and a logbook naming Ranger X as Crow's contact. The ranger, now identified as a disgraced official named Eli Tanner, was tracked to Vancouver, where he confessed to covering Crow's tracks for a cut of the profits. Tanner claimed Mia and Jordan fled north after escaping a cage, possibly guided by Mia's star maps. The families, electrified, searched the lake's edge, finding a raft with fresh paddle marks. Tsila's final clue, a footprint, small and recent, led to a ridge overlooking the lake, where a telescope, stolen from a 2018 hiker, pointed at the stars. A note in Mia's hand read, "We're free, but not safe. Find us." Evergreen held a vigil, lighting a star-shaped bonfire, its glow reflecting on the river. Elena and Lily, clutching the notebook, vowed to search the Selkirks until Mia and Jordan were found, their courage a beacon in the wilderness. The lake, like the valley, whispered of a truth just out of reach, waiting for one final step to bring the teens home. As the bitter winds of March 2026 howled through the Selkirk Mountains, the search for Mia Rodriguez and Jordan Lee transformed into a desperate odyssey, the faint trail of their survival, marked by a telescope, a note saying "We're free, but not safe," and fresh footprints by a lake, igniting Evergreen, Colorado, with a renewed fervor that transcended borders. Sheriff Elena Vargas, confined to a wheelchair but her spirit unbroken, orchestrated the operation from Montana, her hospital room a hub of satellite feeds and FBI briefings. Elena Rodriguez, Mia's mother, had become a beacon of resilience, her foundation now funding a multinational effort with Canadian Rangers, drones equipped with AI facial recognition, and survivalists trained to track in subarctic conditions. Lily Lee, Jordan's sister, pushed her algorithm beyond its limits, cross-referencing Selkirk sightings with poacher networks, uncovering a web of smugglers linked to Eli Tanner, the disgraced ranger who'd confessed to aiding Harlan Crow. Tom Thompson, Alex's father, haunted by the loss of his son and Sarah, joined the Selkirk search, his weathered hands gripping a map of the lake region, his silence a testament to his unwavering hope. Sarah's family, their Indian heritage a wellspring of strength, held a holy ceremony by the Flathead River, scattering colored powders in a prayer for Mia and Jordan's return, their vibrant hues a stark contrast to the snow. Sela Begay, the Navajo tracker, followed the ridge trail, finding a carved stone. Mia's work, its star pattern matching her sketches, pointing to a hidden valley beyond the lake. The note's plea, "Find us," echoed in every heart, driving the search to the brink of discovery. The safe haven cabin, identified by Tanner, became the focal point. A Canadian SWAT team, guided by Sela, raided it, finding a bunker stocked with poaching gear, traps, pelts, and a ledger naming Tanner as Ranger X. A hidden compartment held a chilling find, a Polaroid of Mia and Jordan, taken post, 2018, their faces gaunt but defiant, standing in a cave. Scrawled on the back was "They ran north, won't stop," in a hand matching crows. Forensic analysis dated the photo to 2019, suggesting the teens evaded capture for a year, possibly more. The bunker contained a radio, its log showing transmissions to an unknown contact in 2020, coded references to loose ends near the lake. The families, especially Elena and Lily, believed this confirmed Mia and Jordan's prolonged survival, perhaps hiding in the Selkirk's uncharted wilds. A drone sweep of the valley revealed a concealed cave, its entrance blocked by a landslide but marked by a fresh bead from Mia's necklace. Excavation uncovered a shelter, a fire pit, fish bones, and a braided cord with Jordan's initials, suggesting they'd lived there as late as 2025. A sketch, unmistakably Mia's, showed a mountain pass with a starlit lake, labeled "Final Run." The families wept, clinging to the image of their endurance, but the absence of bodies fueled both hope and fear. Had they escaped, or had Crow's network caught them? The FBI, digging into Tanner's confession, uncovered a broader smuggling ring, trafficking endangered species across the US-Canada border. Tanner admitted to disposing of evidence for Crow, including a cage, in the Selkirks where he claimed the teens were held briefly in 2018. A search of the site found rusted bars, blood traces matching Jordan's, and a scratched message, "M&J, stars guide us." The blood, recent enough for DNA, suggested injury but not death, bolstering the theory they'd broken free. Tanner, facing charges, named a third accomplice, Lone Wolf, a smuggler still active in the region. The FBI traced Lone Wolf to a pseudonym, Marcus Holt, a trapper with a limp, matching the John Doe seen with Crow in 2018. Holt's last known location was a logging camp near the lake, where a 2025 report described a man trading beads, Mia's signature, for supplies. Lily's algorithm flagged a grainy video from a camp security camera showing a limping figure and a red-haired woman fleeing into the forest, pursued by a shadowed man. The families, electrified, believed it was Mia and Jordan, still evading Holt. A raid on Holt's camp found a journal, its entries cryptic, "Read and Lane got away again, Lake's End." The families, especially Elena and Lily, saw this as proof the teens were alive, running from a new threat. Back in Whispering Valley, Dr. Rachel Kim's team revisited the Starlit Cave, its secrets still unraveling. A new chamber, accessed via a reinforced shaft, revealed a wooden box, its lid carved with a crescent moon, the poaching ring symbol. Inside were Mia's final sketches, depicting a river escape, and a microchip from Jordan's drone, holding a video. The teens, emaciated, navigating a cave by starlight, Mia whispering, "Jay, we're almost out." A gunshot echoed, not Crow's voice but Holt's, identified by FBI voice analysis. The video, dated 2020, suggested they'd evaded capture for 2 years, a testament to their grit. The chamber held a rope ladder, cut at the top, and a bloodied stone, testing positive for Mia's DNA. The families grappling with this believed they'd climbed to freedom, only to face Holt. Sela's tracking led to a Selkirk pass, where a hidden crevice contained a satchel, Mia's beads, Jordan's tech notes, and a letter. "Mom, Lily, we're alive but hunted. Stars lead north." The letter, inked in 2025, was a lifeline, proof they'd survived into their 7th year. A drone spotted a heat signature near the lake's end, leading to a cave with fresh signs, a fire, a spear, and a star carved into the wall. No teens, but a footprint, Mia's size, headed north. The search shifted to the lake's northern shore, where Sela found a raft, half-sunk, with Jordan's glasses tangled in its ropes. A nearby campsite held a chilling clue, a trap rigged with a crescent moon brand, containing a scrap of Mia's jacket. The families, torn between hope and dread, funded a final push. In April 2026, a breakthrough, a Canadian hiker reported seeing two figures, a red-haired woman and a limping man, near a remote cabin. A SWAT team, guided by Tsila, stormed it, capturing Marcus Holt. He confessed to chasing Mia and Jordan in 2025, claiming they'd escaped his trap but were too weak to last. His camp held a map, circling a cave system 10 miles north. The families, led by Elena and Lily, searched it, finding a shelter with Mia's final sketch, a starry lake, labeled "We Made It." A journal, in Jordan's hand, read, "Day 2800, Mia's my strength. We're free." The date, March 2026, was days old. No bodies, but a fresh trail led to a ridge. Tsila found a bead, gleaming in the snow, and a faint cry echoed, "Human alive." The families, hearts pounding, followed, their lanterns lighting the way. Evergreen held a vigil, its star-shaped bonfire blazing, reflecting the lake's promise. Mia and Jordan, whether alive or lost, had left a trail of courage, their story a beacon in the wilderness, one step from revelation.